The Sudanese people, Sudan is the biggest physical country in Africa. The Sudan has water and it has oil, isn't that right? The Sudan has water and oil. And if the Sudan ever gets itself together, it will become a powerful force for good on the African continent. And the United States government sees that as a threat. Your development out of hunger, your independence is a threat to the United States. Another thing, I bet the police didn't come up here when all those Negroes was up here jumping up and down. I bet you they didn't try to cut them off. They wait till the cameras came. And then they take them coons to jail. Reverend Fauntleroy and all of them, right? This is a South African embassy. This is not no South African embassy. Huh? This is the embassy of the Islamic Republic of Sudan. And we're in a war today. Who is the war against? The war against the good people of the world, the Muslims and the people of color, and the war is launched on us by the United States government and its one or two lackeys. That's who the war is against. And we're out here to say, no, I tell you, we want to put this on the television. You know why? So that our people, black people, and people of color, and the innocent white American will know something. That today, we're in a phase of neo-colonialism. And neo-colonialism means that the United States government want to steal the resources of Sudan. So what are they going to do? First, to separate black people from the Sudan, to make it easy for the government of America to oppress the Sudanese. They know that many of our people here in America who are African and American hate slavery, isn't that right? So they sing that song of slavery in the Sudan. Who's singing that song? Pat Robertson, right? Jerry Falwell, huh? George Bush. They're singing the song of slavery in the Sudan. Now, we don't have a lot of time, so we want to say to anybody black or any person of color, you ought to have enough sense to know that anytime Jerry Falwell, anytime Pat Robertson, anytime George Bush Jr. gets on one side, black people ought to have enough sense to get on the other, right? Anytime that old handkerchief-headed Negro cotton-picking Colin Powell, isn't that right? They ought to put a handkerchief on that coon's head and send him down to Georgia, isn't that right? And put him in the middle of an old-time cotton patch. Give him a couple of old spiritual songs to sing. Let him to do a little moaning and groaning, isn't that right? And you'll have Colin Powell. They ran ours in South Africa in between Colin Powell's trips. You know, they run that Negro out of there. They asked him, how are you, a Negro, going to join with George Bush and his clan? Oh, no, we just trying to serve the people. They said, in South Africa, the black people over there called him Uncle Tom, handkerchief-headed Negro. Then when he came back to Durban, isn't that right? Now, I'm telling you this because you saw on the news the other day that Negro talking about genocide, isn't that right? Well, when he had a chance to speak about Zionist genocide, the greatest genocide you see in the world today is European Zionists invading the Muslim and Arab lands of Palestine and bombing and killing and slaughtering the people. And nobody calls it genocide, isn't that right? They can build walls. They can do anything they want. And the dumb American, remember, the dumbest political person in the world of European origin is the American people. And we know that. I mean, we love y'all, America, but you're slow, dumb. Anything they tell them, they go for it. They got white boys over there getting blown to bits now. Blown to pieces in Iraq. And they said, we don't want Iranians messing around with Iraq because it's out of their jurisdiction. Well, you didn't come 7,000 miles from the United States of America, and you're going to tell somebody that live right next door to somebody that they ain't got no business dealing with Iraq. You're dealing, brothers and sisters, with a neo-colonialist criminal mind called the United States government of America. And we want all people of color and black people to know, when all of these criminals, the Pat Robertsons, the Jerry Falwells, and all of these stooges start loving black people and wanting to go over there and save black people from slavery, right? Then you know something is wrong. They say slavery in the Sudan because you and I hate slavery, isn't that right? They tell the black women female genital mutilation, because any black woman that thinks she got to have an operation on her private parts to become a Muslim will say, I don't want nothing to do with that Islam, isn't that right? Then the world, the Irish Times, the white world come out and say slavery in the Sudan is a lie. So they have to go back and recollect themselves. What do they do this time? Here they come now with a whole new spiel, a whole new lie. What is the lie now? Genocide in Darfur. When we was in Sudan, Darfur was the most peaceful or the most cooperative portion of Sudan with the government. They say 40% of the army is from Darfur. They say 40% of the cabinet is from Darfur. Well, what happened in Darfur then? Soon as the Pat Robertson, Jerry Falwell-backed John Garang in the South, right, signs a treaty imposed on the Sudan, a horrible treaty, giving up a lot of their sovereignty in the near future, right, imposed on them by the West. Here come the United States and the Zionists now going to give weapons to their homeboys, the Janjaweed. Why? To destabilize the Sudanese government. Because they know that all of their soldiers over here, they know that they're weak from 30 years of war supported by the West, isn't that right? You know they're weak. So they send weapons from Chad and other places to these Janjaweed. And they say, again, light-skinned Arabs. Now, when you get hold to me a light Sudanese, I want to talk to him. You know, now, in our masjid and all other masajid that I go, you cannot tell a Sudanese from an African American unless he says something, right? But you can't tell. And the Sudanese go generally from dark brown to blue-black. Isn't that right? Sudanese, they're darker than we are. Sudan, we got all kind of colors, right? Sudanese. But you haven't got one Sudanese that could pass, right? But you got African Americans can pass, isn't that right? We see, all of us see African Americans sometime, and we look at them, we don't say nothing, but we see right around their lips a little bit, we see it as a little African American heritage there, isn't that right? And we know, we don't say, hey, you're passing, you're an octoroon. We don't say that. We don't blow the whistle, or if they want to be white, it's okay. But you ain't got no Sudanese can pass for white, isn't that right? So actually Sudanese are blacker than we are as a whole. And we don't even have too many more blue-black. Remember when we grew up, we had people in our neighborhood was blue-black. Now everybody is brown, cocoa brown, right, dirty red, yellow, high yellow. We got, hey man, we done lightened up a lot from the old days, isn't that right? But what they tell us, oh, those light-skinned Sudanese Arabs, curly-headed Arabs, are over there killing poor black people like you. Alhamdulillah, most of the Muslims are not dumb enough to go for it. But we're here today, we want to put this on TV, and we're asking the African American community especially, do not go for those old divisionary tricks.